In today's video, we'll discuss the best defender on every NBA team. But before we start, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The Brooklyn Nets, Ben Simmons. Simmons has been one of the best defenders in the NBA for at least a couple of seasons now. The 6'10" point guard has made 2 all-defensive teams, which is incredible and not easy to do, especially at the age of 25. But what makes his defense so great? Honestly, it's his combination of length, size, and unreal agility. When it comes to being a versatile defender, he is top tier. There aren't many players in the league who can legitly guard all 5 positions, but he can. He's already had games this season where he locked up smaller guys, with one being Damian Lillard. Simmons completely took Lillard out of the game with his defense, and it was one of the key reasons the Nets were able to win that game. The New York Knicks, Mitchell Robinson. Robinson is an elite shot blocker, and he's averaging 2.3 blocks as of right now. The 7-footer has a massive 7'4" wingspan, and he uses it to alter any shot the opposing team takes. And while he doesn't get the recognition as other top rim protectors, it's mainly because he plays for the Knicks and not a top contending team, which we hope changes in the near future. He certainly deserves to be a starting center for a championship team. The Sacramento Kings, Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell is only in his sophomore season, but he's already made an impact in the NBA with his amazing perimeter defense. When it comes to lateral quickness, he's in the same conversation as Drew Holiday and Marcus Smart. His feet are lightning quick, and he uses them to glide efficiently across the floor to stay in front of whoever he's guarding. He's always been a great defender, hence how he got his nickname, Off Night. And that nickname means that he's such a disruptor that players he guards usually have an off night against him. Yeah. Pretty cool nickname. Mitchell is just the ultimate competitor, and it shows in his game. The Philadelphia 76ers, Matisse Thybulle. Don't let the horrific shooting numbers and lack of minutes fool you. Matisse is one of the best defenders the league has to offer. And yes, it would be nice to see him on the floor more, but he literally has no offensive game whatsoever. But nonetheless, when he is on the court, he's tasked with shutting down the opposing team's best scorer. The 6'5" Australian has a near 7-foot wingspan, and that's exactly why he's averaged a block per game his past 2 seasons. He can effectively defend point guards, shooting guards, and even some small forwards. He's great on the ball and is underrated at dodging screens and sticking to his man. The Los Angeles Clippers, Paul George. Now yes, I know what you're probably thinking. Isn't Kawhi Leonard the best defender on the roster? The answer to that is kind of difficult, because obviously he's only played 5 games this season and he's missed the entire previous season, and even before the injuries, his defense seemed to decrease, mainly due to his increased offensive role, but nonetheless, he's still a really good defender and one of the greatest defenders of all time. But here, right now, in 2022, we have to give it to PG-13. George is still a really good defender with some of the quickest hands in the league. And when he's locked in, he can be a nightmare for opposing teams. The Dallas Mavericks, Dorian Finney-Smith. Smith is one of the most underrated defenders in the game, which is kind of surprising due to the fact that he plays aside Luka Doncic. But the reasoning is that he isn't a flashy defender by any means. Therefore, he doesn't receive much praise for his defense in the media. But Smith is elite, and he can defend 3 to 4 positions comfortably. The Indiana Pacers, Miles Turner. Turner is one of the best rim protectors in the NBA, and he's even averaging 2.6 blocks per game, which is second among all players this season. Miles is only 26 years old, and he hasn't even sniffed a championship or even a deep playoff run. That's honestly sad, because there are many contending teams that could use his elite defense, such as the Warriors or Lakers. But as you know, he has been in numerous trade rumors for the past few seasons, and while we do wish he was playing for a better team, the Pacers are playing pretty good so far this year. The Boston Celtics, Marcus Smart. The former Defensive Player of the Year is in the race yet again, and for good reason. He continues to be the heart of the Celtics defense, and he plays a huge role in them being first in the conference. And we know some of you would rather choose Robert Williams, who is an elite defender as well, but Boston would still have a great defense without him. And honestly, we don't know if we would be saying the same thing if it were the other way around. And that's why Smart gets the nod. The New Orleans Pelicans, Herbert Jones. Herb Jones has had one of the best defensive starts to a career we think we've ever seen. In just his first season, he's already made a name for himself around the league for being an elite defender. Jones is a 6'7" irritant. He sticks to players like glue, and it doesn't matter if you set 100 screens, he's going to maneuver out of all of them with ease. The sophomore has a 7-foot wingspan, and he uses it to block shots in the mid-range, and we don't think there's a player in the league who's blocked more 3-pointers than he has. While he does have long arms, it's not like he has a 9-foot wingspan, so him being able to block 3-point shots has more to do with him having unreal anticipation, timing, and positioning. The Los Angeles Lakers, Anthony Davis. AD is arguably the best defender in the NBA right now, and it's surprising absolutely no one. Even before he first stepped foot into the league, he had high expectations on the defensive end. He's averaging 2.2 blocks per game and even had 6 steals and 6 blocks just a few games ago. AD is also first in the steals plus blocks stat, which is incredible. Davis should be in the Defensive Player of the Year discussion. He is extremely crucial to the Lakers' recent success on both ends of the floor. The Phoenix Suns, Mikal Bridges. Bridges is the Suns' primary defensive stopper, and saying he does a great job at defending players seems like an understatement. He's a top-tier elite defender and was even in the Defensive Player of the Year discussion last season. He's extremely quick laterally, and he does an excellent job at pursuing ball handlers in the half court or even full court. The 6'5" wing can defend guards with the best of them, and he's only 26 years old, so he has at least another 6 to 7 years as a top defender. So if we were on an opposing team, we would get used to him sticking around. The Chicago Bulls, Alex Caruso. Alex the GOAT Caruso is one of the most skilled and athletic defenders in the entire league. His defense heavily relies on hustling and scraping for every loose ball and rebound. His ability to play high-intensity defense all game long is unbelievable. So we think it's safe to say the 28-year-old will definitely be rewarded with all the defensive awards. The Orlando Magic, Mo Bamba. This one was pretty tough. The Magic have a few players who are all in the same boat as being good, but not great defenders. Jalen Suggs, Chuma Okeke, Wendell Carter Jr., and Gary Harris are all talented defenders. But we'll have to give it to Bamba, who has a massive 7'10" wingspan. The Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis and Drew Holiday. Yes, we have our very first tie on the list. Holiday and the Greek Freak are both top 7 defenders in the NBA, and they both play significant roles for the Bucks defense. Drew is the primary defensive stopper, and he is tasked with guarding players like Curry, Kyrie Irving, Morant, and even bigger scorers like Jaylen Brown and Jimmy Butler. And Holiday might very well be the most skilled defender we have in the NBA. But as for Giannis, he's labeled as the very best defender in the NBA by some, and for good reasons. For starters, it's without question he is the best weak side defender in the entire game. There isn't anyone who can move as quickly for weak side blocks like he can. He's just simply too long and too fast. The Atlanta Hawks, DeJounte Murray. Murray is averaging 2 steals per game right now, and he even led the league in both steals per game and total steals last season. He's one of the best defensive playmakers in the NBA and also one of the best defenders at turning defense to offense in a hurry. Trae Young definitely appreciates having him as a backcourt partner. The Memphis Grizzlies, Dillon Brooks. Brooks is one of the most physical defenders in the league, and given he weighs more than 220 pounds, you can see how he usually plays that in his favor. He can defend 3 to 4 positions, and he loves locking up superstars, especially Kevin Durant. The attitude he brings to the defensive end perfectly fits a tough Taylor Jenkins coach team. The Charlotte Hornets, Cody Martin. Cody Martin is a hardworking defender, and his game really relies on hustle and grit. He's definitely one of the lesser known players on this list, but trust us when we say this. He can really play defense and is someone to keep an eye on. The San Antonio Spurs, Jakob Poeltl. The Spurs might have one of the absolute worst defenses in the NBA, but it's not Poeltl's fault, that's for sure. He's a really good rim protector and gives the Spurs some backbone. And being that he's 27 years old, and given that the Spurs are in a rebuilding mode, his days might be numbered in San Antonio, and honestly, that's probably for the best. The Utah Jazz, Jared Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is an elite defender, and we don't think many people realize how he completely transformed the Timberwolves defense last season. His activity on the defensive end is electric, and that's exactly why he's getting a ton of minutes. He doesn't really have much of an offensive game, so he's literally put on the court to grab rebounds and cause chaos, and that he does well. At 6'9", he can guard 4 positions and even some centers, which makes him an extremely versatile defender. The Minnesota Timberwolves, Rudy Gobert. Despite the 2 big men experiment not working as expected, Gobert still remains a top defender and at worst a top 3 defender. Gobert is currently first in defensive plus-minus, first in defensive Darko, and first in the defensive LeBron stat. So yeah, he definitely still is a defensive player of the year candidate, and that won't change anytime soon. The Denver Nuggets, Aaron Gordon. Gordon is a really versatile defender, and at 6'9", he has a 7-foot wingspan. He's strong and quick enough to guard almost any forward in the league, and he can even hold his own with guards. And while the Nuggets do have Bruce Brown and KCP on their roster, 2 good defenders, Aaron Gordon is borderline elite. The Detroit Pistons, Nerlens Noel. This one is a tricky one. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, and even Diallo are all good defenders, but Nerlens Noel will take our pick due to how impactful he is in the lane. And yes, we know he's only played 5 games this season, and it's been reported that the Pistons have him on the trade block, but there's no denying how good of a shot blocker he is when he's on the floor. The Washington Wizards, Deni Avdija. DA has an extremely high ceiling as a defender. He's only 21 years old and is already one of the most versatile defenders in the league. At 6'9", weighing around 210 pounds, he can guard 3 positions at an elite level. His size and quickness make it very difficult for opponents to get quality looks. And honestly, we wouldn't be surprised to see him make an all-defensive team in a few years. Yes, he has that kind of potential. The Houston Rockets, Tari Eason. Eason is a rookie out of LSU, and even though he's very young, he's proven to be the Rockets' most complete defender. We know Alperen Sengun and Jabari Smith are good defenders as well, but they both have a couple of weaknesses, which is mainly due to them being young players. But either way, Eason has the highest defensive ceiling on the team. The Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green. This may be the most obvious pick on the list, so we won't spend too much time talking about it. Even though the Warriors are honestly looking kind of bad this season, Green is still in the top tier of all major defensive stats around the league. The Toronto Raptors, OG. OG's defense has been on another level this season, and he's even leading the NBA in steals per game with 2.4. He's also 4th in the NBA in the blocks plus steals stat, which shows just how impactful he is for Toronto. He's a great on and off ball defender and plays with solid physicality along with high IQ, which is why he leads in steals. OG's exceptional at jumping passing lanes and anticipating when to swipe at the ball. The Portland Trailblazers, Gary Payton II. Payton has yet to suit up for the Trailblazers this season, but we all know how great of a defender he is when he's out there on the floor. The Blazers are definitely trying to nurse him back to health as quickly as possible. The Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. Yes, we have another tie on the list, but can you blame us? Butler and Bam are one of the best defensive duos in the league, and we would hate to have to score against these two, especially in a long playoff series. Butler is still an elite perimeter defender and off-ball defender, and Bam is a prime example of what all teams want, a center who can defend any and everyone, no matter the position. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Evan Mobley. Mobley is an extremely talented defender. He has elite shot-blocking instincts, and his 7'4" wingspan makes him even more lethal. He can also step out on the perimeter and defend, which is really valuable and almost a necessity for big men in today's NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Lou Dort. Dort is a terrifying defender to go up against, and he's one of the few defenders who would thrive in the 80s and 90s. He loves playing physical and getting into his opponent's chest, but he can also move his feet and slide laterally when he needs to. All in all, the 23-year-old is already beloved by the fans, and when you play as hard as he does, it's no surprise. There you go, the best defender, or defenders in some cases, on each NBA team. Would you make any changes to this list? Let us know in the comments below. Did you enjoy this video? If so, you will surely enjoy our most recent videos, so subscribe to NBA Swish for more amazing NBA content just like this. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.